Hi guys, and welcome to General Chemistry 2 for Spring 2021. My name is Lee West, and so just a little bit about General Chemistry 2. General Chemistry 2 is the second class in the three-quarter General Chemistry sequence, and it is normally taken by people who are STEM majors. That's people that want to become veterinarians, dentists, doctors, scientists, or engineers. But I mean, of course, it can be taken by anybody who has an interest in chemistry. It serves as the prerequisite for the organic chemistry sequence of classes. That is, I should say, the whole sequence serves as the prerequisite for organic chemistry. So you also would need to take General Chemistry 3. So let's just kind of get some basic contact details about me out of the way. So, my name is Lee West. You can call me either Dr. West or Lee. I do have a physical office in the Library and Science Building, but this is an online class. And I also have a work phone where you can contact me, and I'll get, you can leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can if that's your preferred method of reaching out to me. You can email me. Or you can also send a Canvas message that will get forwarded to my email. Just a little note about Canvas messaging. I have noticed that it doesn't handle large attachments well. Sometimes that goes wrong in Canvas. So you might find that it works out better to send me a conventional email if you are wanting to put a large document in that message. The other thing to keep in mind is it's always best to use your college email. Sometimes if you just use your regular Gmail or Microsoft Mail, whatever you have, it might get filtered out by my junk filters. Every day I'm going to have office hours via Zoom, and I'll send announcements out about those starting at 11:30 through to 12:30. And then on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, also via Zoom, I'll be having some problem solving sessions. And I'll make sure that I record those problem solving sessions and send you a link out regarding those. Please note this is a asynchronous online class. That is, we don't have a traditional lecture where we meet at the same time every day. So there's a little bit of kind of time management that you'll have to figure out, because it's very easy to fall behind with this particular format. So, just talking about office hours, just be aware that sometimes people do want to talk one-on-one during office hours. So you might find when you come to office hours that you're placed in the waiting room. It doesn't happen that often, but happens every now and then. So if you are placed in a waiting room, just kind of like sit tight, and normally I'm finished within a few minutes talking to that person. Similarly, if you just want to speak to me one-on-one during office hours, all you've got to do is ask, and I can kick everybody else out into the waiting room, and we can have a chat about whatever your personal issue is. So just be aware that office hours is a time for all of my students. I have 3 different classes that I'm teaching this quarter to ask questions. So you might have to wait a little while to get around to your question, but something you can do to kind of like guarantee that you get your question answered is to email me prior to office hours and say, hey, would you be able to talk about this? And then I'll make certain that I actually I can schedule your slot, so to speak, and make sure that I answer your question. All right, so we have a free textbook available from the OpenStax website. That URL that's in the syllabus and also on our Canvas site, so you don't have to pay anything for the textbook. And each week I'll be giving you readings from the textbook. You need access to either a scientific calculator or an equivalent kind of tool. So an equivalent tool would be like a website such as Desmos, or my preferred website is Wolfram Alpha because it was built by a chemist. But a math website or a scientific calculator, or you can get an emulator for your phone or your computer that emulates the functions of a scientific calculator. I like the Wabbit emulator. That's a good one that's available free. We're going to be working in ALEX this quarter. You might have, if you've had me for a previous class, you would have used that system, and you'll need this 10-digit code to register for ALEX, and I recommend getting into ALEX as soon as you can. If you can't afford to purchase access to ALEX, I did send out via Canvas, it's in the week 0 module, a financial aid access code. You can use that to get 2 weeks access to ALEX. And if you are anticipating that you're going to have trouble beyond that 2-week period paying for ALEX, just let me know and I'll try and work something out for you. Okay, so each week you're going to have assigned readings just to kind of make sure that you engage with the content, and we want you to be doing this in the early part of the week. So you'll be assigned sections from the book to read. I'll also be giving video lectures to you guys that'll cover the same content, and it'll also kind of fill in some of the gaps between the textbook and what ALEX is asking for in those video lectures. And you're expected to make Cornell notes of those readings and then scan them and save them as a PDF and upload to Canvas. So just a little bit of info about this, like scanning as a PDF if you haven't done it before. Basically all this means is taking a photo of them with your phone and then saving them as a PDF, and I like to use the app Cam Scanner to do this. And I posted a link to a video that explains the process. If you've got any difficulties in doing this, if you've never done it before, just reach out to me and I'll kind of try and guide you through the process, or give you some resources to help guide you through the process. So these assigned readings, the notes that you make on them are due by midnight on Tuesdays each week. Each week you'll have homework problems assigned via ALEX. So these homework problems, you can attempt every question as many times as you want. They're graded for completion. You get a certain number of topics each week that you have to cover, and you need to answer 3 questions on each of those topics. So I think in week 1 we have 6 topics. You got 5 days to get it done. So if you do like 2 topics a day, 6 questions a day, and then that's pretty easy to get done. What you want to be avoiding with these ALEX objectives is trying to do them all at once, and you definitely don't want to be trying to do them all at once on your own without any help. So don't leave them to like after 5 p.m. on Friday, because then there's no help available and you're just going to kind of, you know, it can really be a big time suck for not very many points. And that's just kind of a bad approach. Try your very best to do a couple of topics per day. So your ALEX objectives, they need to be done by midnight on Friday. And then every week you'll have either a quiz via ALEX, a case study, which is like an extended written description of a problem with some questions attached, or a discussion. Depends on how creative I'm feeling as the course goes on, what you'll have, but you'll have 1 weekly assignment of in one of those categories per week, and they're due by Sunday midnight each week. Scattered throughout the quarter, there are 3 tests that will be given via ALEX. They typically come about every 3 weeks, and they are also due at midnight on Sundays. And we'll also have a final exam. And the final exam covers all of the material for the whole quarter. It's administered via ALEX as well. And that's due on the Wednesday of finals week at midnight. And I think that's Wednesday the 16th of June. Okay, so obviously this is a lab class that you're going to get lab credit for. Most weeks we do have a lab. I think we've got 7 or 8 labs this quarter. The labs are given via Canvas, and they are due at 11:59 p.m. on Fridays, as the same as your objectives. So I highly recommend submitting a draft to me for review before submitting your lab. Now, kind of keep in mind that if you send in this draft after 5 o'clock on Fridays, then you're not really, that you're not giving me a chance to respond to it, right? So that draft needs to be sent in, Thursday would be good. If I get like sort of 48 drafts of labs on 5 p.m. Thursday, the comments on those drafts are probably going to be pretty mediocre. So every week you'll have a module that contains all of the resources and assignments that you'll need for the week. And so what I recommend doing is just working through that module from top to bottom. A lot of people are really tempted to jump straight to the assignments and try to do the assignments without looking at any of the content. You might get lucky, but you also might waste a very, very large amount of time by taking that approach. Each of the modules has a kind of a similar structure. So I'll talk about that now. So basically how the modules are built up is that at the first part of the week, you're going to study content, which means you're going to read the book and you're going to watch video lectures, and you're going to make notes on that stuff. And then those notes are submitted, midnight Tuesday, right? Then you kind of start applying the content. So what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be doing those ALEX objectives, those topics from ALEX, right? And this is just graded for completion, and you can attempt every question as many times as you want. There's no time limit on anything, and you just got to kind of do it, right? And the objectives are due by midnight on Friday. You're also going to try to apply the content in a practical way. So what we're also going to have you do as part of this practicing applying the content is we're going to have you do your lab, and that also is due midnight Friday. But then we move into kind of the testing aspect. So, you kind of catch your breath after doing the objectives, you review as much as you need to, and then you have to show me that you can kind of, actually that you've retained some of this knowledge and that you can use it effectively. And that's where your weekly assignments, tests, and the final come in. And what you're doing there is you're answering questions where the questions might be kind of worded in a slightly more complex manner than what was in the homework. You're going to have time constraints, and you're not going to have necessarily all of the explanations and so forth that you had when you were working through the ALEX objectives. And certainly you can't submit drafts to me of this stuff. And all of these quizzes and tests and the final exam and all of those kinds of things, they all need, well, not the final exam actually, but all of your quizzes and tests need to be completed by Sunday midnight. The final is actually due on a Wednesday, isn't it? Because you have a bit more time for that one. So what I keep hearing from students again and again and again, that the key to success in Chemistry 162 is doing a little bit of work every day and making sure that you have a plan for the week that takes into account how you're going to be busy with other aspects of your life. So if you know that are not going to be able to do much on Sunday because you've got somebody's birthday, then you're going to have to plan to take your quiz on Saturday, right? So, just stuff like that. Just thinking about how to distribute your time really, really goes a long way in this class. All right, guys, well, that's it from me. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to send me a message. Catch you around. Bye.